Very, very packed lecture series today. And I hope everybody have their pen and papers. We're going to be looking at profit calculations on the products that you're going to be sending. We're going to look at so many things. Again, today we're going to be talking about selling on Amazon and the benefits that you have. We'll look at a lot of things. But before that, I'm sure we all are looking at the news very well. We heard the news from Access Bank. It hasn't been done, but what they are planning to do about 75% of workers going off. And this has been what is going on. Mikano laid off so many workers. There's just a ripple effect passing through Nigeria. And it hasn't even reached where you're going to see the highest casualty. And that is where the government, like we said, when Nigeria sells oil in March, they typically get paid around June, 90 days thereabout. So once that time reaches and the money is not coming, we virtually sold zero oil in March, and April is almost the same. So you can imagine what is going to happen when state governments are not getting their regular allocations. It's going to be a challenging time. So the key thing is, like I have always said, what is it that you need to do to keep yourself afloat? Because this is not something that is going to happen just once. It's going to be a long-term session. We've seen countries that face similar path. Venezuela, Zimbabwe is one of them. In fact, I think the last time I checked, one Zimbabwean dollar was it 37 trillion Zimbabwean dollar was equal to $1 American dollar. And Nigeria will definitely not get to that level, but you are going to have a runaway of exchange rates, because if we are not earning dollars, the demand for dollars, especially since we still import a lot of our consumables and items, will be huge. There's a prediction that is going to reach as high as 1,000 to the dollar. We hope it doesn't. We hope once this COVID-19 issue reverses, things will go to normal. But again, the only way to secure yourself, whether it ends or not, is to make sure you are earning in dollars. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So why Amazon? There are a lot of other platforms out there, but why have I focused so much on Amazon? One is that Amazon gives you access to a global audience. So when I say a global audience, everybody in the whole world shop from Amazon. So any product you put there, you are given, it has the potential of reaching billions of people. And that obviously, they do all the marketing for you. Everybody knows Amazon. So that's a big advantage to you. Secondly, why should Nigeria be focusing on Amazon? If our Naira increases, the cost of producing our products falls in the international market, which means our labor, everything becomes cheaper, and then we have the ability to be very competitive internationally. So that is one. Another one that I always hammer on is the AGOA benefit, and that is the fact that Nigeria is part of the sub-Saharan countries that enjoy duty-free access of products into the US under the AGOA legislation. So that is a big benefit. I believe by now a lot of us should know what AGOA is. If you don't, it's pretty sad if by now you don't know what AGOA is. But I hope you know. You've gone to agoa.info, agoa.info, and you've researched potential products. Again, in my series 2, I dealt a lot on AGOA, the principle of joining eligibility of countries, the 35% rule. If you don't remember that, please go back to that series. Anywhere again in the world your product is available, And again, one good thing about Amazon is people trust Amazon. Compared to eBay, Amazon has been able to maintain a high level of product quality, and that's why it's the choice for most buyers. And when we talk of that product quality, and if you look at most of the other series, I have continued to hammer on the need to make sure your products are of good quality. Earning dollars is also another avenue, and then it opens you up. One advantage that you need to take very seriously is that by selling in Amazon, which is probably the easiest to start with compared to selling in places like Walmart, Target, and all those places, by selling in Amazon, it opens you up to the ability to sell to other retailers. How? Because by the time you open up on Amazon, you have the sales statistics to back up your product. So if you put XYZ products on Amazon and in a month you're able to sell 200-300 of it, it shows that there's a demand for that product. So in future expansion, you can now take that sales statistics and go to Walmart and say, look, we have been able to sell this on Amazon. Nothing stops us from selling it there. So those are some of the advantages that you are going to see focusing on selling on Amazon. Now, is it that you, a Nigerian business, cannot sell on Amazon? Yeah, well, it's very challenging. One is that Nigeria is not eligible. So if you are trying to register, you do not see Nigeria as an option. And why is this? It's very simple. We still have a lot of quality issues coming out of Nigeria. So when they get products, there's a lot of scam, the reputation we have. And then you also have logistics challenges, quality, logistics, reputational issues. Those are some of the reasons you will see that Amazon is not allowing you to register directly from Nigeria. But, despite that, if you have your way around it, either by having a relation register for you and stuff like that, they can do transfers to Nigerian account. So that is one. You're obviously paid in dollars. It's not a good thing, because when they are transferring that money, it is the bank that is going to do the exchange. They are going to use the official exchange rate to change it for you, and that puts you at some sort of a disadvantage, because we all know what the banks will use to exchange it. So again, Nigerians, a business in Nigeria can register on Amazon, but it's very challenging. There are ways to go around it if Nigeria is not registered there. You can, from Nigeria, file to set up a foreign company here in the US. It's possible, but it is not easy. It is only feasible for very big companies that can have a staff station here. If you go that way, you're going to have payroll taxes. You're going to have taxes you pay here. You don't want to do that, because if you are not a very big entity that can have separate staff here, so that is that. So again, even if you decide to do it from Nigeria, there's also going to be a lot of challenges, because remember, you are selling on a platform, and one of the things Amazon looks at is the referrals, the satisfaction of your customers. So if you have a lot of complaints from your customers, there is a tendency that they are going to block your account, because they want customers to have good experience. So I know couple of other companies have tried this in the past, where they help you list on Amazon, and then when somebody buys something, they give those items to DHL, and DHL sends it. At times there are issues with entry, at times there are delays. It's really not a good way to go. The only way you can really sell successfully on Amazon is by having the products locally here in the US, so that when people buy, they easily dispatch from here. Now, You don't want to deal with the challenges I mentioned. If you are shipping products from Nigeria and somebody requests a return, they say they don't like the product and they say they want a refund. How are you going to deal with that? Are they going to use DHL to send it back to Nigeria? And in most cases, what the few people that I know did was they just tell the customer to just keep the item. And you can imagine how much, by the time you have 2-3 of that in a month, it's a lot of money. There's also another option that is called Amazon Fulfillment. So with Amazon Fulfillment, Amazon will handle all the warehousing, the storage, the shipping, and all that for any product of yours they buy. But it's a very, very complex system. It is way more expensive. You're going to pay a lot more. I know a couple of Nigerian sellers who try to do fulfillment with Amazon. Some are still doing it, some are not. But in the scheme of things, they basically pulled out after a while. And we have a solution that obviously is a lot less expensive, and that is part of what I'm going to be talking about today. So, working with us, a lot of people have asked, okay, so how do I start listing my products on Amazon? What are the challenges? If you are going to be doing it with us, how does it work? So again, there are processes. If we want to work with you, because of how Amazon is, they are very quality centered. They will not just accept just about anything. They may accept it, but once there are 2-3 complaints from your potential customers, they begin to look at your account, and if it reaches a certain level, they flag you out, and then they basically shut you out of the system. So basically, if you want to work with us on Amazon, first thing is we're going to look at your products. Make sure, because we are going to be using our account, so we're going to make sure it meets certain quality. When you are sewing a shirt and you want to put that shirt on Amazon through us, a straight line has to be a straight line. There are a lot of things that we overlook, but when you are going on an international level, you definitely need to meet international standards. So those are some of the things, some of the challenges that we are going to face. So basically, we will look at your products. When I say we will, it's not that you have to send it over to us here. No, we have staffs in Nigeria, and I'll give you the address later, who will take a look at those products, make sure they meet certain criteria, and then once it meets, they will now send a sample. We charge just $20 to send that sample to us. They will send that sample to us, and then we do a further level of checks over here in the US to make sure it meets that standard that we're looking for. And then once it meets, then we sign a formal agreement that will list out a lot of things. So what are the things that you will see when you're selling on Amazon? Obviously, Amazon takes a percentage of each sale. We all know that every platform does. The Jumias, the Kongas, they will always take a percentage. And the percentage for Amazon typically ranges between 8 to 17. There are instances where it's more than that, but the average range is 8 to 17%. And the most common percentage is about 15%. That is what you see for most products that you will sell to them. Beauty products, for example, so if you are somebody who wants to be doing shea butter cream and those type of things, you'll probably be looking at 8% for items less than $10. And then anything above that, I think there's a 15% on the extra above 10. Fashion clothes is about 17% for anything clothing. So that is what you are going to expect when you are selling such items. Then you have shoes, handbags. These are about 15% commission that Amazon will take. Food takes anywhere from 8% to about 15%. I think if it's more than $10, they take 15% above that value. So, depending on what it is you want to sell, we will look at what the percentage is, and then we'll obviously let you know. But have it in mind, it's not free. Jeff Bezos did not become the richest man in the world now by giving out Amazon for free. So there's going to be a percentage, like I said, is between 8 to 17%, but most items fall at about 15% in commission. So that is one. Again, let me reiterate, if you are trying to work with us, first we are going to look at your products. Maybe I should list it basically. I hope you can see the board well. So working with us, there are a few things that we basically look at. So one is quality of your item. Your items, it has to meet a certain quality standard. The second one is you need to know about Amazon's commission. Obviously, Amazon is going to take some commission. And then the third one is obviously there's some shipping cost, shipping to customers. Shipping to customers. Obviously, when people buy the products from you, the product has to be shipped from the warehouse where we are housing it down to the customers. So, but this is not a big issue. We take care of this because the customer pays for it. So when we list those products, each of them will have a shipping cost which the customer pays. Now, there are ways some people go around this. They offer free shipping, but typically the customer will pay the shipping cost. And shipping costs can range from anywhere from 50 cents if it's something as small as a letter to $20. Depends on what they are buying. So like I said, some customers will put the cost of the shipping into the product and offer it as free shipping. So those are some of the items. Then other things we are going to need from you is number 4. I'll say pictures and description. So you should be able to take good quality pictures. Typically, we request for a minimum of 5 pictures for each item you are sending to us. Description, you have the short, the long description that is available there. And then obviously, the next one is our fees, because remember, we are doing the fees, so we have staff who are doing your customer support. They are doing your packaging. So when somebody buys, somebody has to be there to package it and ship it to the customer, and we just leave it at a flat 10% of whatever that sells for. So that again, like I said, covers the packaging and all that. Then, and this is similar with what you see with fulfillment by Amazon. If you send to them to fulfill, they have cost of dispatch that is added to each product. And then we have warehousing. Now we have looked at the Amazon's warehousing, and ours is way lower than that, and I'll show you samples of that in a minute. I already showed some of the samples earlier on, and then remittance, obviously. So as you sell, I hope you can still see that. Remittance, obviously. So as you sell, we definitely have to send the money back to you. And the good thing with the way we do it is we will typically combine remittance for many people, send it once to Nigeria, and locally we now start distributing. So with that, the cost of the international wire fees, which you pay when you are using your own account on Amazon, is a lot less because we're sending for many people and then we're distributing it locally. So those are some of the things you are going to see when you decide to work with us. Again, quality is very important. It's not every product that will be accepted, because if we are using our Amazon account, like I said, we don't want them to block the account. So we are very, very cautious about the quality of the products you bring. Again, Amazon will take commission, like I said, is anywhere from 8% to 17%. That is what you typically see. And those percentages basically depend on the type of item you are selling. Food is around 8%, fashion is 17%. So those are very important. And then there's obviously the shipping to the customer. We will handle that. We have accounts with FedEx, UPS, and Post Office that will handle the shipping to the customer. You will send us pictures and descriptions because we need to know about the product to list it for you. Our fees is 10%. There's warehousing cost, and the warehousing cost is as little as $10 a month. Obviously, a better option. So what we are going to spend most of our time to do today is sample calculations. So sample calculations will go showing you the potential of listing on Amazon, and the potential gets higher as you depending on what you are selling. The more you sell. So I'm going to look at two items. One is I'll look at food products, and I will look at fashion items. Now, to do that, let me get a sample of the box we use. 1 second. Okay, so I'm back. So this is a sample of, say, a typical box that this is our minimum box for those who are hosting products on Amazon and want to send to us to ship to you. So I gave analysis of this earlier. And this box is a 12-inch by 12-inch by 12-inch box. And I will show you the sample calculations to determine how profitable it can be to sell on Amazon. So I will start with food. Again, if you remember, if you go through my lectures, there was something I said about food, and that is simple. Food requires more startup requirements than fashion and other things, but again, food is very, very profitable. The profit potentials when you are dealing with food is massive. So and the good thing about food is that you have a lot of things that are just being wasting away, that nobody is talking of. So I'm going to look at two items for food, so that this is very important, and be here with me so that you understand how these calculations, and because this is what is going to determine your profitability. So don't go, and I'll take a lot of questions after this. So, when we started, I showed you guys this soursop leaves, they call it soursop easily in Nigeria. And when you go to Amazon after this, when you are doing your research, just type in organic dried soursop leaves. Sour, S-O-U-S-O-P, I think, search organic dried soursop leaves. One of the things you're going to see there is you have, so let's say, I will start with soursop. Now on Amazon, you have 2-ounce packets. They sell anywhere from $8 to $15. $8 to $15. That's what 2-ounce packet of that sells for, right? Typically on Amazon. Now, for this calculation, we will assume that it sells for just $10, right? So you've gotten these soursop leaves, you've dried them, because that's all it needs. You dry them, they have a lot of nutritional benefits, and maybe not millions, but thousands of people drink this product every day. They convert it to tea, and that is what they use to make tea. So this is going for about $10, a 2-ounce package. Now for this box, our weight for this box, maximum weight, is about 6 kg. So this will is about $60 to ship this, shipping, clearing, everything for this. So let's assume you've processed your soursop leaves and then you bring it to us to send for Amazon to you. 6 kg is about $60 in shipping, and is equal to how many, each packet is 2 ounce. So if one pack is 2 ounce, 6 kg will be equal to what? 105 packets. You can do the calculation later and you will work it out. And these packets are very small. So easily 105 or even up to 200 will fit this. But because of the weight limit, we will assume that you have 105 packages of these products in here. Now, for those asking questions, I will answer your questions after this series. So you have each packet is 2 ounce. This box will take 6 kg. That gives you 105 packets, right? All right. So I'm assuming that we are selling each packet for $10. Let's do the calculation for each. Now, Amazon will take 8% commission. Now, remember, they are not doing anything. They are just, Amazon is more like a referral entity, They are the ones referring customers to you. So they are taking 8% commission on the product. Ours is fixed. It's fixed at 10%, for any product. That is because we have to do the packaging, we have to do the shipping, we have to do so many things. So for each $10 you send, the total commission is what? 18%. So meaning that you have 82% for yourself. So what does that mean? Your earning is what? $8.20 per packet. So for each of those packets, remember those packets sell for between $8 to $15 on Amazon, but for this calculation, I've decided to use just $10. So now each of those packets weighs 2 ounces. Now for 2 ounces, the minimum box you can start with weighs what? Can take 6 kg. That is our fixed weight for it. So that 6 kg is $60. It will take about 105 packets. If you do the calculation, 2 pounds into 6 kg is 105. Now Amazon takes 8%, we take 10, the total is 18. So you have 82% left. So what goes to you is $8.20. Now the shipping per pack, is what? Simply 60 all over 105 packets, and that is what? That's about 57 cents, 0.57. So what is the net that comes to you when you subtract the shipping? So your net is now what? $8.20 minus 0.57, and that is what? That is 7.63. So for each pack of the soursop leaves, you are earning $7.63. Present exchange rate is at 460, 450, but I'm going to use 460. We know it's going to go higher. So that means you are making 3,509 per packet. Now, I can confidently tell you that the cost of making one packet is not up to 1,000 naira. Confidently, that there is no doubting that, because these are leaves that are just falling. You are picking them up, packaging. The cost of getting a packaging that you do is not up to 100. So let's assume worst case scenario, the cost of each pack is 1,000. So your net profit is about 2,500. So to make sure that you guys are getting this again, I will explain it all over again. This is your net profit per pack. So if you go to Amazon, like I said, search for organic dried soursop leaves. Each one weighs about 2 ounces. 2 ounces, it sells for between $8 and $15. Now, let's assume you sell for 10. Now, when you are bringing, the minimum box we will take is this box, 6 kg. So if each packet is 2 ounces, 6 kg will take 105 packets. Now, for each of the packets, Amazon takes 8%. Our commission is fixed at 10. Total commission is 18%, so you are left with 82%. So of the $10 that you decide to sell it, you are making $8.20. But remember, you shipped it to the US warehouse for $60 for 105 packets. So each packet is shipping for 57 cents. So what is the total that is coming to you? 820 minus 57 cents leave you with 763. If you convert that at present 460, that gives you 3,509. And like I said, there is no way it will cost you up to 1,000 naira per packet. No way. But let's assume that means you have a profit of about 2,500 per packet. Now, how many packets were in this? 105. So total profit is now 105 times what? Your net, which is approximated at 2,005, and that is what? That gives you a total of about 262,500 naira. So you have sold this box of soursop leaves, and your net profit is about 262,000. If you are able to sell 10 of these boxes in a month, multiply 10 6 kg boxes. What is that? That's over 2.6 million per month. Let's just assume you are able to sell 10 of this. And what is driving this profitability? What is driving it is the high exchange rate that I keep talking about. So because our exchange rate is high, it becomes more lucrative. And these are things that are just there falling down, wasting over there in Nigeria. So you can see the potentials that this has. I'm going to just put, the net profit here is 262. So net profit total, I hope you can see this side, is 262,000. That is that. So this tells you the profit potential. Now, I need you guys to really understand how this works. Let's look at another product. That's why I said I'm going to leave one side, but I had to come to this side, Again, please stop asking questions. I will answer your questions after the series. So let's look at tiger nuts. We all know what tiger nut is, right? The stuff that we see a lot of Hausa men pushing, and they pour water to do it. And tiger nut can be used to do a lot of things. Flour, so many things. Has a lot of health benefits. I love it. Anytime I'm in Nigeria, you see me where the Hausa men are with their wheelbarrows. So if you are looking for me in Nigeria, I'm probably there eating tiger nuts. But go to Amazon again and search for tiger nuts. Amazon is right there. Go there and search. You will see that they have 12 ounces per packet. So what you see is that obviously the tiger nut weighs a lot more than this. So per packet you have 12 ounces, and each of these is selling for around I think it's $10 to about $15. That's what this tiger nut packets sells for. So for this calculation, I will assume that you are selling yours in the middle, $12. Right? Now, 12 ounces, we are again assuming you are shipping in this box, because some people may not be able to get the soursop leaves, some may get tiger nuts. Now, if you are shipping in this box, 6 kg will be equal to what? How many pieces? And that's about 18 pieces. Right? So we see the difference. Whereas on the soursop, you had 105 packets. Because this is heavier, you only have 18 pieces here. Right? Now, the same calculation works here. Amazon takes what? 8% for food, and we take 10%. So you are left with 82%. So your earning here is what? 82% of 12, which is, I think that is $9.84, 9.84. So that is what you go away with. Now, remember you have 18 pieces, shipping for $60. So shipping now comes out to what? 60 over 18, which is, I'll just use approximately $3. Right? It's about 3.33, but I'll use $3. So your net earning gives you what? 3 minus that, 6.84. Right? So that's 6.84. At 460, that is what? So for each, your net is 3,146 naira. Now, each pack of that again, you cannot do it more than 1,000. So cost of production, if we say is just 1,000, then your profit after all this is done is about what? 2,146 naira. There is no way you will sell packages of tiger nuts in Nigeria and make a profit of 2,146 for a pack that is less than a pound. There is no way. When you take this type of pricing, say you want to sell a pack of tiger nuts that is less than 1 pound for 2,146 naira, they will probably chase you out of ShopRite and some of those places. So look at the profit you are making, right? Now, so what is the total profit per box of this? So total profit is what? 2,146 times 18, because there are 18 pieces, right? So that's about what? 38,000. So can we see the difference? While you are making 262,000 for the soursop leaves, you are making 38,000 for the tiger nuts. Now, if you are able to do 10 of the tiger nuts per month, that still gives you a healthy 380,000 in net profit. Remember that the 1,000 that I used here is your total cost of production. So you are looking at about what? If you are able to do 10, which is still a very substantial profit margin. This one is just there because of the weight. The weight ensures that you have a lot more inside. Now, how do we overcome this limitation due to weight? Obviously by shipping via sea. But when you are shipping via sea, so if you were shipping this and this via sea, the profit potential you see here will become the same profit potential you see here. But for us to do sea, it requires larger volume. It requires, and again, what we are trying to do is we don't want each person, you have to come with a whole container. No. We want to work with so many businesses. So one business is doing tiger nuts, he brings maybe 20 cartons, another one brings 40 cartons of this, and we combine everything in a container, we send to our warehouse in the US, and then, you begin to see end these benefits. So that is that. Let's take a look at fashion. So for somebody who is into fashion, let's take a look. And again, remember one of the things I told you before. Agriculture. Nigeria, we need to focus on agriculture. The profit potential in food and agric is massive, and we really need to pay attention to it. A lot of these food products are just wasted. If you go, statistics, I was reading up on food storage in Nigeria, and they say that about 40 to 60% of all the food that is made in Nigeria is wasted. Why are they wasting? One, poor logistics. The other one is poor storage. So when you go to a place like Benue, there is a market, I can't remember the name. I was reading one girl's tweet on Twitter. Now that market, farmers will come from all areas to that market. A basket of tomatoes will sell for about maybe 3,000 in the morning. By the time it's evening, they are looking for 200 to sell a basket because they don't want to go back with the basket that nobody has sold. So imagine if you can tap into this. And it's not only that. A good friend of mine, they make, if you go to ShopRite, you see this product, this cassava chips. And they were able to engage villagers around that Abuja area to make these chips for them. So look, don't sit down there. The profit potential is amazing. It's amazing, Profit potential is amazing. So again, like I said, I know there are people that have questions. I will take time to answer your questions after this. And that is the benefit of being there for the live lectures, because if I post it on YouTube, yeah, you can watch it, but you can't ask questions. So this is that. A box like this, you are making 262,000. If it's a Tiger Nut, 338. But like I said, if we send it by sea, then the profit potentials of both of them will match, because it's going to be the same cost to ship via sea. And the profit potential is even higher, because while this is about $60 to send via air, by sea, this will not even be up to $10 or $15. So you do the math. But we do more of the ocean analysis for those in our paid class, and I'll talk more about that later. So let's take a look at fashion, see profit potentials in fashion as well. I really hope you guys are following. You've started thinking of what it is you are going to go into. But again, the profit potential is amazing, but it requires you to do some work. So again, let's look at profit potential. So for example, you decide, I want to be doing African shirts, some of these shirt designs, or some nice shirts, like I said during the fashion lecture, the key thing you need to do is find a niche. Don't just because other people are sewing shirts, sew shirts. What is important in any business is not that you are selling it for $30. It is the margin you are making on each item that is important. So for example, you decide to sew shirts and you are selling the shirt $30, but it's costing you what? $25 to make. So your profit is what? $5, right? So your profit is $5. Which is what? It's costing you this. So you are making about what? 20% profit on this. Somebody can decide to start sewing socks. Just socks. And he's selling each socks for what? $4, right? That's the range of prices you see. Maybe a pack, 3 socks or whatever. He's selling it for $4. And it's costing him $2 to make. So what is his profit? He is at what? 50% profit. So is it better to go into a business that will take so much capital, or one that will take less and give you more profit? So again, that's why I've been saying it all the time. Find your niche. Find your niche. Find your niche. It's not a must. There are so many things we can do in fashion. You can do bikini wears. Use African fabric to do bikini wear, so that when you are at the beach, instead of the bikini wears that most ladies wear on the beach that is just black or white, it has some fancy African colors. Something that is different. Okay, let's do a little calculation on fashion. So you are doing African shirts. So let's say each shirt is selling for what? 30? That's around the range you see most times. And Amazon commission is what? Fashion is 17%, and then our commission is 10%. Like I said, it is fixed. So that gives you, so your earning NG is now what? This is what? 73%. 73% of $30, which is what? 73% of 30, which is $21.90. So for each shirt that is sold on Amazon for $30, we are going to wire $21.90 for you. Now, this box will take about 20 shirts or thereabout, So, but, you remember you've paid $60 to ship 20. So that's what? $3 per shirt. So your total net, no, let's not call it total. Let's say your net earning, I always forget this earning, becomes what? Minus that, 21 minus that is 18.90. So let's say approximately $19 is what you are making per shirt. Now, how much is it going to cost you to manufacture that shirt? If you have a production line that is working. And remember, if you remember the lecture I gave the last time, this is not the only size. This is just what we say people can start with. I have other sizes here. So if you are somebody who can make bigger shirts in larger quantity, this is our biggest. This is our big one of our big size boxes. We can virtually do any size, but if you were shipping in this type of box, then the cost per box will now drop from $3 to about $1. Cost per shirt now drops from $3 to about $1.92 if we are sending in this type of box. So it's a rather big box. This will take about 320 shirts. So the calculation works out very easy. So if you look at that, go back to where I was. If you look at that, that is what you are making. So you need to now determine, can I manufacture that shirt for less than $18.90? So I'll just use, for the sake of quicker calculation, that this is $20, which is your net earning. So $20 is equal to what? Times 460 is 9,200 naira. So this is now what you are getting in return back to you after we remove the shipping, the commission, everything. 9,200 is what you are getting. Now you need to determine, can I make that shirt, sewing material, everything, for less than 9,200? I think you can. So if it's less than, let's say it's 6,000. I don't know what, I'm not much into fashion. So that means you are making about 3,000 per shirt. This that the smallest box that we start with will take about 20 of those shirts. So that will give you 20 times 3,000, which is 60,000. So for each of these boxes, you are making 60,000. So one thing you will see if you are looking at doing fashion is that it needs to be optimized so that you have a production line process. And I talked about that earlier on, making sure that, you can manufacture these things quickly. Wow, we've passed the 1 hour time limit. So I believe this gives you guys a good idea of how the whole thing works. And, I'll just give you some contact information for those who are ready to kick off. There's really nothing much. Like I said, if you want to work with us, we'll look at the quality of your product, and then from the calculations that I gave, it's there. Now, this is an introduction, because I can't teach everything here. Like I said, I have a paid series. It's 5 days. So you can imagine in a classroom for 5 days where you are digesting some of this, and it's an amazing series. I've taken my time to prepare this series. 5 days of classroom. And why I do classroom, we will start doing online, but I want to start with classroom where we am able to see you one-on-one, look at your business plan, look at the process you have. We'll go from looking at the right way for you to sell your products, what is the best way to find buyers, and again, like I said, we already have a list of I think about 5 people over here in the US who are looking for wholesale suppliers, and it's through those that are part of that paid series that we give some of this information. We have somebody who is interested in shoes. He wants to do wholesale shoes, buy from you. But anyway, the whole video series will be online when the time comes. So again, you can reach us at our Lagos office. Our Lagos office, and it's at Shop to My Door. That's our and it's at 14 Akinremi Street, and this is in Computer Village. So any questions, look at the size of the boxes, it's there. Or our Lagos warehouse, is 11 Ajibade Street, and this is in Ajao Estate. Lagos. So, again, if you have any questions, DM me on Instagram and I will answer your questions. So now I'm ready to answer questions from people. So go ahead, let me know the questions, send your questions to me. I will answer as much questions as I can. We've exceeded the 1 hour, but this is a very important series, so I'm going to be here to answer as much questions as you can. And again, I hope you've benefited from this. Like I said, I have the paid series, and that one, it's a 5-day course. I don't know how much it's going to be, but you will know shortly. I'll let you know. I'll get, somebody saying, do we need NAFDAC for food? Please go back to series 4 where I talked on food. I think you will benefit more by going to series 4 where I talk on food. And yes, you need NAFDAC for food. I would like to know the tree that produces soursop leaves. Soursop leaves comes from soursop tree. I hope that answers your question. Do we need to grind the soursop leaves? No. So soursop leaves is used to make soursop tea. So basically what you have is, you pour hot water in it and you mix it, and it's just like tea, normal tea, so that is that. Any other questions? Do we still need NAFDAC for soursop leaves? It is food. So anything consumable, yes, you need NAFDAC for Joy CEUB01. Yes, you will need NAFDAC for that. Again, when you're bringing things here, even Amazon, they want to see that you have some certifications from the country that it is coming from. Okay, the tiger nut will be dried or fresh. So typically, again, if you go back to the lecture series that I gave, there are some recommendations I gave on the type of food that would make sense for you to go into. Things that have a long shelf life. So things like granuts, peanuts, that once you seal it, it can stay for what? For 1 year. Tea, if you can do hibiscus tea and all those type of tea, they have long shelf life. Cashew nuts, so the nuts categories, they are typically things that can work for. Odela Natural says, I have NAFDAC for my products like Zobo powder, other spices. How can I key into this? I've already given you everything you need. Watch the series. If you already have your NAFDAC, go back and watch series 5 where I talked about food. It gives you the requirements to get your FDA. And if you are part of our paid class, part of being in that paid class is that if you sell food, we will, in that class, help you file your FDA. Like I said, getting FDA is not a big deal. While you're in that class, we will help you file your FDA and show you how it is. Can we send Nigerian-made herbal tea? Definitely. Like I always say, whatever it is you have in mind, go to Amazon and do your research. If it's there, it tells you it can be sold. And that I talked about in my first series. Again, for those of you who don't know where to get the other series, go to YouTube, YouTube.com and search for Unduka Ude. If you go to YouTube and search for Unduka Ude, you will see all the series. This series I will post within 48 hours. Is FDA different from NAFDAC? Watch series 5, please. I treated FDA in depth. FDA is the US equivalent of NAFDAC, please. Can the Amazon account you operate for us be linked to our mail address? No, sir, it cannot. But one of the benefits that we give you is, shop to my door. We are able to give you a US address that you can use for a lot of things. Let me see, any other question? If I don't have much question, how much is the paid class? I don't know yet. I will let you guys know shortly. How about the fashion? Since NAFDAC will limit me, will fashion be better? It's up to you. And again, the paid class, we like to deal with people who already have products that are ready to go. So if you want to be part of it, it is advisable you watch this series that I have done. And that will give you an idea of this is what I want to do. So that when you come to that class, you have a focus on the product. As we are teaching it, you are able to look at how you are going to market that specific product. Because if you come to the class and you don't even know what product you want to sell, you are not going to be able to get much because your mind is everywhere. So when even, it's not, the class is not about the fact that you can pay for it. No, it's about getting people who are ready to make a difference. So yeah, you may not have everything intact. Maybe your food, the labeling and such is not perfect, but we'll help you in that. We'll help you perfect it. Because again, remember, like I said, we need to look at the quality of what you have before we push it out there. When dealing with you, do we still need to register with Nigerian Export? Yes, you have to, because you are sending those products for yourself. We are just helping you to list it on NAFDAC, on Amazon. And remember, Nigerian Export Promotion Council is very easy. If you have any issues with that, DM me. I have some good contacts there. I live in Ibadan. Do I need to come down to office in Lagos for product verification? Yes, because we need to see the product. We need to see it. I have a product and I'm ready. Take it to our office. And this is the address, 14 Akinremi Street. They will look at it, pass it to the managers, and then we'll get back to you. NAFDAC is limiting me as a startup. Sorry about that. You see, what are we doing? I just hope there are some government people here, because, the process we have to go through with NAFDAC is really not fair. Okay, I think that is all. We've spent an extra 15 minutes on this. So I'm going to end it here. Anybody that needs our contact, just go to shoptomydoor.com. You'll be able to see all our contact information there. It's right there for you, the phone numbers. Can we export products if they're already registered with NAFDAC? Yes, you can, but you may need an FDA license. Go back to series 5. Again, thank you guys. Initially, I was going to do, I think, 7 series, but I think this 6th series is enough. But every week, I will be giving various tips, maybe 15 to 20 minutes of various tips, things that you do. Because if you look at the whole 6 lecture series now, it's a lot to comprehend. So just make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube page, because subscribe. Once I put up any new video, you will get a notification. There is so much to learn when it comes to export, from structuring your business to the marketing to packaging to what products to go into. I will be treating these regularly, on a weekly basis. Any other questions, feel free to DM me. But most times, if you DM me and you ask me questions that I've already treated, I will simply refer you to the videos. Again, we are looking for companies that have products that are ready to go. Send it down to our Lagos office. We will review it. If it is something that we can push, we will push it. Look, really, I want to see people going into that soursop leaves. I want to see people going into packaging tiger nuts. I want to see people going into packaging cashew nuts, packaging granuts. There's so many things. And when you look at a lot of these things Nigeria have, a lot of them can be converted into flour that is more healthy for consumption. If you again remember the food series, I talked about the organic nature of Nigerian foods, while it is very, very cost effective, very, very profitable to sell here. Again, thank you. Do customers look at popular brand name before they buy? Definitely, Roots. Customers look at brand name, and that is one of the reasons when I told you guys in series 3, finding buyers, I talked about what I call brand transfer. So take time. You need to watch some of these videos over and over. Customers will always look at a brand name. And that's why the concept of brand transfer is something new, and it is what made China what it is. And it's something that will benefit you guys. NAFDAC for bedsheet, definitely not. You don't need NAFDAC for bedsheet. You don't need NAFDAC for fashion items. You only need them. And again, if you look at the different things I said, certificate of origin, you get that from Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, a lot of other things, all treated. All right. Thank you, guys. It's been a wonderful time. The comments I've gotten has been very impressive. Like I said, I will continue to do more series to educate Nigerians. Export is the way to go. If you don't have a product to export in the next 6 to 1 year in Nigeria, you're going to find it difficult staying afloat. Thank you, guys. All the best. Yes, you can sell wigs. A lot of wigs have been sold. And again, I will see you sometime next week. So like I said, this is the end of the series. The other ones that I was supposed to treat, setting up your own account on Amazon, so where I teach you that process, that is going to be for the paid class. And then going wholesale, that is how to take you from being a retail to a wholesale seller. That is also going to be for the paid class. I will let you know when the class is available. Thank you, guys. Remain blessed. Stay safe. Bye.